Vault is a free and open source password manager that can work cross-platform and without an internet connection. One of the biggest issues facing password managers today is that they are controlled by large companies. You don't know what they're doing with your data. They're experiencing data leaks, beginning to charge money for basic features that you'd expect to have, such as cross-platform access to your passwords. I previously was with a password management company that I had to leave because they began charging money to be able to run it on your laptop and your phone at the same time, which I just think is wrong. One of the biggest issues facing computer security today is simply passwords. A lot of them just aren't strong enough, aren't long enough, and aren't unique enough. By using a password manager, you can have these passwords that you're never going to remember stored securely, and you'll only have to remember one. And you can ultimately improve the security of all of your accounts. The benefits of Vault is exactly that. Anyone who needs a cross-platform free password manager, they can use Vault. The savings come from, if you already have a website, you can host it on the same server. There's no cost to actually buying the software, and it's a great alternative to more commercial password managers out there. First, I'm going to show you the Vault server, which is currently on the screen. You'll be prompted to set up an account, which I'm now going to do. So you got to enter a username and password, and then you'll need to go on your phone and scan the QR code on screen with an app such as Google Authenticator, which will then begin providing you with two-factor authentication codes, which I'm going to enter now. Then there's a number of settings which you can change, but I'm just going to leave it on the default for now. And then you're on your dashboard. This is where you can input your passwords to be encrypted and stored securely. So I'm going to add one now. This is just an example of a password that you can add. You'll notice here a small exclamation mark has appeared next to it as it's telling me that my password's weak. So I can update my password to be something a bit more secure. There we go. Save that. And then the password strength icon will disappear. You can also delete passwords, which will remove them from your encrypted vault. But I am going to leave one on there. Just call it test 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, and test 45. There we go. Just so we can see how the software works later. Also on the synchronization server is because I was the person who set up the server, I'm now an administrator on the software. So I can access all of the settings from in here as well. You can change your password, which any user can do, even if they're not an administrator, and you can delete your own account, which is also anyone can do that. I can also see a list of users who are registered to the website, so at the moment, because I've got registration disabled, which is disabled by default, it is just me. It shows up as the hash of the user, as the name is not actually stored by the software, which is a feature intended for better privacy and security to kind of anonymize who's using it a bit more. This button here will open the help page, which has a user guide for the server, client, and administrator guide. That button there will log you out, and this one just explains a bit about the encryption. So that's the basics of the Vault server, or at least the front end. It also has an API which allows it to interact with the Vault client, which I'm going to show you now. So the client is an application that you can download to your computer and then set up. Then it will install, and I want to run Vault. So the first time you're using it, it'll prompt you to set it up. So you'll need to enter a few settings. So I'm going to set my sync server to the same URL as the one opening my browser behind it. Then you're going to save your settings. It's going to ask you to restart Vault. And there we go. So you log in exactly the same way as you do online. The whole process is meant to be the same so that it's easier to remember. Once you're logged in, it is going to alert you that there is what we're calling a sync mismatch. So this means that the synchronization server and the Vault client don't have the same information on them. If you make some edits on the other one, or both of them at the same time, and they may conflict, but because this is the first time I'm using Vault on this machine, I'm going to click Keep Remote Changes. That's going to download all the information from the synchronization server into my client, which you can see it is now done. So everything on this screen works in the exact same way. You can make changes to the passwords. You can also add new passwords and delete any existing ones that you no longer wish to keep. The main feature of the client that makes it different from the server is that it will work offline. So if I actually close the client and then unplug the Ethernet cable from my computer, I'm currently not connected to the internet, as you can see there. But if I open the Vault application, it's going to come up and tell me that it can't connect to the synchronization server, which is to be expected because I don't have internet. So you can either retry and it will attempt to find a connection again, or you can click continue offline. All your information is stored offline in a secondary encrypted cache on your computer's file system. You can still edit and view any passwords you'd like, and it works in the exact same way as it does online.